Hey there, YouTube. I'm going to do a quick review here of another decent beginner bike if you're a little bit bigger. This is probably the biggest I would recommend starting out on, and I would still say you'd probably only do it on if you're a little bit bigger person. This is a 1996 Kawasaki Vulcan 800. It's the first year of the Vulcan 800. Now, this basically came in three models. This one, the A, which is the classic version, with the 21-inch front tire and the more inverted forks. This one's been modified a little bit. It has some pulled back drag bars on it, a low seat, which I guess is good if you're shorter, and an exhaust system on it. Except for that, it's pretty stock. Only has 8,000 miles on it, which is pretty low for a 1996, and is in really nice shape for a 1996. This is the first model year. I believe the next year the Classic came out that had 16-inch front and rear wheels. And then the Drifter came out a year or two later, which was like 40s looking theme. You don't see many of those. Usually you see the Classics and these A's. So what can I say about the bike? Well, this is probably your universal Japanese bike of the 90s and early 2000s. Really popular. It was made from 96, basically unchanged till 2006, and in 2007 the 900 came out with a redesign. It has a drum rear brake with a 16-inch rear tire and a 140 width, and a 21-inch front tire, which gives that nice soft tail look. And by soft tail, long front end, big tire, and as you see, no exposed rear shocks. The rear shock on this is actually underneath the bike and pulls backwards. Gives it a really nice look in the back. Now, it's probably a little large for most beginners. If you've had any seat time, you've ridden a dirt bike or anything, then I think you're more apt for it. This is a little bit bigger bike, but I've had a few friends who this actually was their first bike. They both started with the Classics, but it's basically the same bike, and that was their first real bike. This bike has a 5-speed transmission, obviously electric start, single disc in front, drum brake in the rear, and the basic tells you your water temperature if you're overheating, your oil level if you're low, your indicator, one button, neutral light, and a high beam light. Very simple. No gas gauge, no kickstand switch, just the basics. But this is a really good bike. You can ride it all day long. It can do highway speeds. It'll do 100 miles an hour. You don't really want to do it. We do a week-long ride a bunch, and guys did it on this for a while, and they never had a problem keeping up on back roads or even on the highway. It does everything you need it to do. Has the nice spoked wheels, which I've said before are as much of a blessing as they are a curse. They look really good, but don't forget, with any, well, not any, there are some modern expensive high-end vehicles that do use spoked wheels that are tubeless, like BMW. But for the most part, when you see spoked wheels, you're running an inner tube, which is not a bad thing. But keep in mind, if you're doing a really long trip, that if you get a pop in an inner tube, you can't just plug it. You cannot plug a tube tire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing we usually do. We're gonna have my crash test dummy, Chris, who's 15, and this will be his third street bike he's ever ridden. He's been riding dirt bikes since he was 8 years old, so he's very proficient on how to use a motorcycle. But for street, not really his forte. Now that he is licensed and has a permit, now I can let him ride. So we're gonna go out, and he's gonna give this thing a shot. Chris, why don't you sit on this? Tell me how you fit. Now, Chris is 5'6". He's 120 pounds, so he's on the small end for this bike. You've never even sat on it before, have you?
No.
Okay, how's it feel? You've ridden two street bikes. You've ridden the Ninja 250 and the Shadow 600. Now, this has a lower seat, so you're probably gaining an inch of leg clearance on this, and the pullback bars. But what do you think? How's it feel compared to the Honda you drove last week?
It feels a little taller.
A little taller?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, really? Even though with the low seat?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
Okay. How about the reach to the pegs? Comfortable?
Feels, I don't know. It's pretty similar.
Pretty similar? How about weight? Can you feel anything now that you're not moving?
It feels heavier.
Feels heavier? And it is about 50 pounds heavier than the the Shadow 600, and but this is about 20 or 30 pounds lighter than the Classic, with the bigger fenders and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this thing for a ride around the block. Chris is gonna review and say if, as a beginning rider, is this something that's doable? This is definitely a bike you can ride for years. This is not a bike you need to think you have to upgrade right away. All right, Chris, you want to fire her up? The key's on the left-hand side, right below the choke lever. There you go. Oh no, I think yeah, right there in the middle. Make sure you're in neutral. It's got pipes. Don't forget, this is a cruiser. Your ground clearance is low. Okay? Take it easy around turns. I'm following in my GSXR 750. What do you think?
That was fun.
Okay. So you've now ridden 3 bikes. I would like a comparison between the Ninja 250, the Shadow 600, and the Vulcan 800.
I liked the Shadow more because it was lighter.
Okay.
like I feel like the gearing in this one was better. I don't know.
Like, what do you mean by the gearing was better?
I
Like,
don't know, I kind of liked how it was like more off the line.
more powerful.
Yeah.
So did it feel a lot more powerful, or was it just the fact that it's all loud made it feel more powerful?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that it's all loud.
It is a little loud, this bike. So was it hard to ride?
No, not really. It was pretty easy.
So, but you would, if you had to buy a bike, you'd prefer the 600, do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd prefer the 600. I don't know, maybe this one for highway riding. It did feel pretty nice, like, I don't know.
This would probably get going a little better on the highway. It's a little heavier, so it wouldn't blow around as much. But yeah, for around town, they're both going to get you where you got to go. But weight-wise, you thought this one was a little heavier?
Yeah, so I prefer the Shadow.
You prefer the Shadow? All right, so in the new rider review by Chris, oh, well, hold on. Would you rather have this than the Ninja 250? Would you rather have the Ninja 250?
Yeah, no, I'd rather this than the Ninja.
So even at 15 years old, the sport bike isn't for you think that it's better to ride on the cruiser?
Yeah.
To start out. All right, so there we go. So far in our entry-level rider bikes, we have top of the heap, the Shadow 600, then the Vulcan 800, and then after that, we're going to go Ninja 250. I have a few more bikes I plan on reviewing. I have an Interceptor 800 I have to make run, and I'm going to have you ride that. But if anyone in the comments has anything else they want to see or want to know any more information, or if there's anything that you think would be helpful, please chime in, let us know, and I'll try to address it on the upcoming videos. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thanks.